Doug here with Yaskawa, and I am at KitchenQueen today. They are the manufacturers of these higher end, just beautiful wood burning stoves, and so they are out of Crofton, Kentucky. And they, about a year ago, they wanted to increase their production capabilities, and so they contacted us, and they've had their weld cell going for a little over a year. And I'm here with Nate Miller, and he's going to take us through their production area on how they go from just regular sheet metal to this beautiful piece of equipment. So with that, we're going to walk on over to the production facility. And Nate, while we're walking, how long have you guys been in production and running in general?
So we've been in production for about 15 years. About 4 years ago, we started on our CNC journey. We started with a monofiber laser. That has been a true game changer for us. We used to shear and punch all of our parts, and being able to go from that to a laser was truly a game changer. Accurate parts, and also the ability to, when you're prototyping, to put out one and then make changes and then cut another one has really been revolutionary.
Wonderful.
So
all right.
So our process starts with laser cutting. Pretty much all of our parts run through our laser, and then a good deal of them we also run through our model press brakes, which we bought those about a year after we bought our laser. We saw the need for something more accurate than our old mechanical press brakes. We've still got one, but
yep,
these things are way better than the old mechanical ones. And usually we've got our process down to pretty much laser cutting and then bending, and then from there we bring it into our weld room. We still do a lot of manual welding, as you can tell, but for the most part, most of our parts get assembled on our robot welder in here. And like Doug said, we've had it for about a year now. The integration curve was definitely bigger than either the laser or the press brake was, but it was definitely worth it too. So let me start this thing up. So we're currently welding up the second stage on a Grand Comfort 550. Takes about, I think, 15 minutes to weld this stage.
So how many stoves were you guys putting out before you got the weld cell?
One person was putting out about 3.5 on a good day, and now on a good day, I can put out 6 to 7.
6 to 7.
That's correct.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
But you're taking a lot of the boring out of it, which is running all those long beads. You get to assemble the stove, and the robot runs. On a stove, it's kind of different than other assemblies. We have to seal everything off, which means a lot of long seams. We try to bend as much as we can, but there's only so much you can do. So being able to have a robot, and I think they recommend 80 centimeters a minute. In some areas, I've got it running 110. We use 045 wire and just crank it up and lay a lot of wire down.
And now, are you? I know you guys had talked about different sensing technologies. Are you guys currently using any sensors? AccuFast?
We're using AccuFast, and I have Comark. I use that some. AccuFast is still my go-to. I use that a lot, not just for shifting welds, but also to check for part presence. That is really nice, because there's some small parts I put on there that are really easy to miss, and it really sucks grinding that weld back off. Whereas with part presence sensing, if it's there, it welds it. If not, it alarms out, and you can put it back, put it on, and no harm, no foul.
Yeah, that's great. And so for those unaware, that AccuFast is the box that's on the wrist, and so it's a laser that we use for seam finding, and as Nate said, for also checking part presence. So it's one of the sensing technologies that we use for. We've got different levels of seam finding and seam tracking. So that is specifically for seam finding. Wonderful. Anything else to add on, your experience with this robotic weld cell? I mean, has it been fairly easy to learn and grow with?
So the initial curve is very gradual, but the sky is the limit on what you want to do with it. Like, I have it set up with multiple load stations, and your load stations are key to your model numbers, because some models I'll have different positions where I want to load parts.
Yeah.
And sometimes for each stage I'll have three positions to load parts, and I have it set up in there to where it recognizes that, and all I have to do is hit home, and it'll go to my next load station. And being able to go into the code and use that to basically dummy-proof your setup, just like the part presence. There's a lot of that I do to where A, you're not getting your welds in the wrong place, and B, see that right there? That's part presence. Making sure those are on there. The more you can do that, the better you're going to like it. But there again, like, your initial learning curve is small. It's just as you want to grow with it, you have the capabilities there. I've not found anything I want to do yet that I haven't been able to figure out a way to do.
That's great. Great.
Cleaning the tip, it'll be back for more here in a second.
And as you can see, they've got obviously this side, but this is a Arcworld 2000 series. So that means they've got the one robot, and they've got the one headstock, tailstock assembly here. And then when we go over to the other side of the cell, then there is another headstock, tailstock assembly over here. So that way they can be setting up one stove assembly while the other one is welding. So it can just keep going back and forth, keeping that operator busy and keeping that robot running as much as possible.
Also, we're running 2 different models at one time right now.
Oh, there you go.
So, that's also really nice. So you're not, let's say you're doing a run of 20 or whatever, you're not stuck finishing that run before you can start another one. You can put the other side on something else, which that really works good. But like, I have never run the same stove on both sides. Usually it's different ones.
Different models.
Yeah.
Right.
But Robert Miller, your tech,
yes.
He was great at figuring out how to do all that. Man.
Wonderful. Shout out to Robert Miller there.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
Not really here, other than, I'm happy with where it's at, but I'm trying to increase my chops all the time at the program.
Yep, I imagine.
Save time and get better, a more reliable weld. Like as you can see right here, here's my. I keep that, and as I run across something on a fine tune, I just jot it on there. When I get it to where I want it, I cross it off. And then when I get down with the page, tear it off, and start another one.
Always improving, right?
That's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
And so another obvious shout out here, and what we want to be highlighting is, a big reason they got into robotic welding is, like Nate said, they wanted to get more products out there faster and more accurate. So that when you got more accurate parts like this, they're going to be sealed. It's going to be a cleaner, nicer finish. And so these are the top of the line stoves. So for those of you looking for wood burning stoves, check out KitchenQueen, and I'll have a link to their site for you to be able to check out their stoves. Thank you very much for watching. All right, Doug from Yaskawa, still here at KitchenQueen, and I'm here with Jimmy, and so he's going to take us through the final assembly area. He's in charge of final assembly area and sales. So with that, Jimmy, what do you got going on here?
So over here is where we do all our sanding, polishing the tops of the stoves. Of course, the various weldments, wherever the weldments come out, will get a little bit of a bulge. We had to make this machine ourselves. It slides in and out. We've got a little gizmo to put pressure on it. Just 2 tires. Very simple, very basic. We couldn't buy it, so we built it.
Yeah, I love it.
So moving on into the painting room, we do only a little bit of painting here. Of course, it's all high temperature paint. moving into our finishing room, here's where all the pretties get added. We've got a lot of them. As you can see, it takes quite an inventory. There's more to a stove than meets the eye. Most of the skins on the side of this stove are covered with a porcelain enamel finish. Porcelain enamel bakes at like, I think it's 2,800 degrees. It's actually a glass, so think of it as a glass, not a paint or a powder coat. You can treat it like a glass, you can clean it like a glass. It effectively is a glass. When it comes out, the bond is so good that if it chips, if whatever, you'll actually get the chip either in the steel or above where the glass and the steel meet. It's never where the two meet. It's bonded that well. So we've got several girls over here that do our finishing. They've been such a blessing. They do such a really good job of just every little attention to detail. There's a lot of little parts, and we found that the ladies we've hired do a phenomenal job of just remembering everyone and getting everyone on there.
With this type of product, you need attention to detail for sure.
Yes, you do.
These are beautiful.
Yeah. And it's so easy to, if you miss something, nobody's going to catch it. It's all going to come out in performance of the stove. So we've really been blessed at the results.
All right. Anything else to add about this final assembly area here?
Well, I'm not sure. For us, it's all perfectly normal. And I'm sure for other folks looking at it, they're like, what's that? So we're not super lean manufacturing oriented here. We do a lot in large batches simply because it saves labor. Obviously, it takes more warehouse space. As you can see, we've got stuff sitting around for a while, prepped up, ready to go. But we found that if somebody can do 50 versus do 5, obviously it's a whole lot faster. So more warehouse space, more inventory, but less labor. And
Great.
That's.
And then why don't we get one last look at the finished product out here. These are just too beautiful not to share more of.
Right now, we've actually got more in stock than we normally do. We're just getting ready to move into our busy season, and so we like to have a stock here where we can meet demand as it shows up.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Jimmy. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're welcome, Doug.